now.
Hello interwebs, I'm Eric and welcome to TheLooneyTurtle. Well, that's different. Anyway, Scooby-Doo is one of the most beloved franchises today, and it's all because of these. That's right, 4 direct-to-movie DVDs caused what I would like to call the golden age of Scooby-Doo, sparking nearly 3 movies to be released every single year afterwards. Believe it or not, before these movies existed, Scooby-Doo didn't really look like it was coming back. The franchise fell into a rough patch after the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo series aired in 1986, which can be explained in this video here. And for the next 10 years, the closest thing to bringing the series back was a show called A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, which was around the time where pretty much every beloved cartoon franchise was remade into a show where the characters were kids. But while it was well received by the people who tuned in, it didn't really spark anything other than a few straight-to-video movies that flopped once more. Luckily, all of that changed after the property fell into Cartoon Network and Boomerang's hands. They started airing reruns of Scooby-Doo Where Are You?, which brought the show back into the public's eye and resulted in Hanna-Barbera being asked to make some new straight-to-video movies of Scooby-Doo. This movie involved talents from a variety of other shows, such as Dexter's Laboratory, SWAT Kats, Doug, and so on, leading to some new ideas being thrown around. The premise of the movie involved an eerily similar idea from one of the cancelled episodes of SWAT Kats, where an anthropomorphic Catwoman drained the life force from people. Similar to the plot of this movie, but it was a lot more fleshed out due to the amazing talents of Glenn Leopold. He wrote for SWAT Kats and likely lifted inspiration from those cancelled ideas. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island took a new approach to the long-stale villain introduced in the first 5 minutes formula by combining some of the previous ideas and fleshing them out in a better light. As an example, Scooby-Doo had started to introduce real monsters in their television series, but this movie retcons that idea by starting with a television interview with Daphne. She claims that all of the monsters they've faced thus far are all masked bad guys, and they reinforce that by having a montage with the gang finding exactly that. For old viewers, it's a sort of nostalgia trip with familiar villains and a new mystery without feeling like a cash grab. It also allows the audience a quick way of understanding where this movie sits. Rather than needing the previous series to enjoy the material, it allows the audience to jump in without losing a beat. Also, as I said before, this wasn't the first time that Scooby-Doo had real monsters, but I do believe that it was the most enjoyably delivered. The gang is skeptical, there's multiple leads, and the conclusion is so out there that I'm led to enjoy the twist rather than being irritated by the conclusion. This movie was pretty successful, gaining some good reviews from both audience members and reviewers alike. Cartoon Network naturally asked for more, and Hanna-Barbera obliged. The next few movies in the series took a similar approach by having real monsters and fleshing out some of the characters' relationships. They even subverted expectations a bit in Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost that initially had a fake, mask-wearing villain, only for it to later be revealed that it was actually a witch. And the villain was actually the guy shown at the beginning of the episode. Like he always is. But they played with your expectations, so it's better. It's not easy getting used to that. So, these movies propelled Scooby-Doo into the 21st century with a new TV show titled The New Scooby-Doo, which was pretty popular among audiences. Scooby-Doo was doing so well that Hanna-Barbera sold the rights to Warner Bros., which started ordering new straight-to-DVD Scooby-Doo movies every year. Due to the surge and continued popularity of the Scooby-Doo franchise, Warner Bros. Announced that the first live-action movie would be released in theaters in 2002. Like all successful brands, the live-action movie sucked. Yeah, it was pretty bad. From a story perspective, the reason they split up was ridiculous and seems to be included for no other reason than it was a long, stale trope, which is fine if it's executed well, but this happened at the beginning of the movie with little to no time to build it up. They also took some of the concepts from the Zombie Island series of movies, but didn't implement them in a satisfying way. Like, what even is this monster? There was plenty not to like about this movie, especially how they turned the savior of Scrappy-Doo into a throwaway villain. This, fittingly, marked the beginning of the second major fall of Scooby-Doo. Unfortunately, this movie made barely enough for a sequel that very much played on the nostalgia of longtime fans with the return of the Tar Monster, the Black Knight, Pterodactyl Ghost, Miner 49er, and so on. I personally found it interesting to see all of these monsters put in a museum, but it played too heavily on our suspension of disbelief. How the heck do you make a wax replica come to life? That wasn't even a joke! Cut it out, mysterious soundboard operator! Ever since then, Scooby-Doo hasn't really had a good cartoon series, and their movies have, more often than not, been revamps of the same dated tropes. There's been a good one here and there, but for the past 10 years, it hasn't recovered from those movies. That being said, this year we're expected to see a movie follow Velma and Daphne, so there's the possibility that they'll mix up the formula a little. I can dream! Then again, with Hanna-Barbera and Warner Bros. Trying to pull a Marvel, it might be a while before we see a faithful revamp of Scooby-Doo. But for now, we'll just have to sit and watch the same old daily grind. Luckily, I have the VS for Use security system that can do that type of thing for me. That's right, Teknova has done it again with their amazing line of electronic home security products. They're so easy to use. Here, check this out. Hey, VS for Use, how safe is my home? Hold on a sec. Hey, VS for Use, how safe is my home? Well, if you ever have any problems with this model, you can always call our specialist Mike, who can have it installed within the next 4 days or less. It'll be 4 days or more, let's be honest. Mike is pretty busy these days. But if you're interested in this amazing product, then I'd highly recommend purchasing it with the special offer Cali, California. Oh, you've been a bad little puppy.